Hello, I'm Scott. Nice to meet everybody.
Hey, Scott. Hi.
I feel like I've followed Francis' speeches before many times over the years, but I feel very inspired, and I was up in this spiritual space, and I'm afraid I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the how. So hope that's okay. Hope that's okay. But yeah, thanks for the introduction. I'm the CEO of Supernal, and I was formerly CTO at Invisible. And I just want to say, like, I feel very conscious of being a business person and a technology person in a sacred space. And I just want to approach that with humility and curiosity, as I hope that we can approach the whole project. But first of all, what's Supernal? So Supernal is a company that focuses on making AI easier for people who are curious about how to make it real for them in their businesses today. So what that means is that we talk to a lot of people who have beautiful visions, inspiring technology, or they're looking for inspiring technology, but they need us to help. And the way that we approach that is with a fully managed service. So a lot of the sort of history of technology solutions being deployed into the world are sort of dumped on people, right? Has anybody ever had that experience? I mean, I'm a technologist myself, but I think that I've definitely, over time, as I've gotten a little older and hopefully wiser, I hope that I don't fetishize the experience of technology. And I hope that it's applying towards real world problems. So that's the way we think at Supernal. So how do we think about this particular problem? Is it easy? Is it just a case of taking some images that thankfully have already been scanned of some beautiful works and then running them through ChatGPT? Well, you probably all know that that's just not going to work. Some people still are hoping for that, but that's just not the way that it's going to work for us. Why is that? Well, off-the-shelf translation is not good enough. We've seen that if you're trying to translate a menu and you're working with English and Italian, maybe, that might be a much more viable solution for ChatGPT. Not so much for this unusual and special case. So we're going to share some of this information afterwards, so I'm not going to read you slides. But I want you to just be aware that we are, again, approaching this with humility. And what does that mean for Supernal? From the beginning of my experience with Francis and Invisible, we've always believed that the best solutions are a combination of people and technology and process. And when you think about that, the real challenge is like, what's the right balance? How do we create the right structure? How do we put all these pieces together? So technology company, but we come at this with a great humility and an appreciation of human expertise. An example I like to share, this is one, the phalanx, but generally great processes start with the right formation, the right set of people. The other example I like to use is the human hand. Like, we all have one. We all have 5 fingers. But think of how much more power you have when you form a fist. And what we think about when we're building solutions, this is the way we're going to think about it with Nālandā, is you put amazing people in the right formation, they can do amazing things. You put people in the wrong formation, it's not going to work. So with the phalanx example, I think it's really interesting to think about, like, how clear roles and mutual accountability are critical. A lot of people want to go towards like expertise, but in reality, what happens is that you put people in a great situation and they will succeed. You put great people in a bad situation and they rarely will. So I think there's a black space on that screen, a blank space. I've got a video, I'm not going to show it to you, but it's an example of one of the processes that we run for one of our clients. And you'd be amazed at how a process that you think is very simple, like order lunch for the team. Think about that, like, oh, that's straightforward. I just ask Jim to order lunch and bring it in for the team. But when you think about the number of preferences that are maintained, the number of like, oh God, I've got an allergy, I can't have this. The number of decision points that are required if I were to leave the office and go pick up a few items. These processes get super complex. The video I was going to show you here has hundreds of nodes. In some cases, there could even be thousands of nodes in a process, which when I say a node, I just mean a step. So when we think about the way that we're going to solve problems for this use case or for others, we think about those steps, in some cases being automations. In some cases, those are human effort. And in some cases, they're actually like internal logic that's managed by AI. It wants to play the video. It won't. So yeah, and the term that I've heard in conversations with these folks that I'm getting to know is the concept of an exoskeleton. The way that we talk about it in our business, we think about amplifying human talent. So I'm a big believer in being humble when we come into a new business. We're not trying to be experts in every business. We're not trying to be experts in every new process. And we're not trying to become the world's leading experts in this translation project. What we want to do is amplify the talents of the people who are involved. So we're like a megaphone or a microphone for the performance of these experts. And we also used to call those Iron Man suits invisible. I like that terminology. So this is a really simple prototype and example, but I think a picture's worth 1,000 words. And people sometimes will get it a little quicker if I show something like this. So this is not the real thing. This is just an example that we're sharing to illustrate the general approach here. But you can see that we've taken some Sanskrit, we've got a machine translation, and we have a place for a human to approve, update, change, do whatever they want with it. So I just wanted to make that concrete for folks. When you think about like, where does a human fit into the process, and how can they get this Iron Man suit, this microphone, this megaphone? This is how. This is one way. And yeah, again, humans with AI, AI with humans. We believe AI is better with people. And when we think about some of the specific, I promise I'm not going to nerd out. I'm not going to talk about LLMs or version numbers or any kind of custom models. I'm just going to say that we'll pick the right technology, and that's part of our job, is to coordinate the right balance of technology. In some cases, we will reduce costs and increase speed by using some off-the-shelf stuff. But generally, we're pretty aware that there's going to be some custom models required. But in every case, there's human review. And one of the key things as well is that we want to make sure that we apply that review over time. Sometimes it's very easy to make mistakes when executing processes when you have a single checkpoint. You approve it, you think everything's good, and it's all done. Finally, I think the thing about this project that I think most people pretty quickly get the idea that we're not here to have a magic AI bot come in and look at these texts and translate them. I think most folks know that would be a little bit of a reach. But when you think about something that I think is really exciting and isn't obvious, is that the output of these projects is multidimensional. We're not producing a single text. We're producing a space for interaction, reaction, translation. So we'd say we incorporate the lens of hermeneutics. We're thinking about the history, multiple translations, and this is an example of one of the kind of best-in-class solutions in that space. If you can see on the screenshot, that's one where one example of looking at spiritual texts and being able to look at those with a curiosity that's not like functionally reading something. So that's kind of my cue to tee up the lightning project.
Wow.